And good afternoon, everyone. Gyro here from a sunny but very cold Franklin, Kentucky. A matter of fact, when I checked the weather just now, the car was saying 21 degrees Fahrenheit. There it is. Feels like 7. So this is Fahrenheit. So thinking what? Minus 10 Celsius? Maybe minus 15, something like that. So this is the 2025 recap video and the 2026 goals video. So I'm going to try to keep this to 20 minutes or less. So here we go. My year in synopsis. I use an acronym, MEPS. So for those who are U.S. military, we know what that is. That's the Military Entrance Processing Station, where you go to and they do the final checks and then they chuck you to boot camp. So it stands for mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. So we're going to do the good parts, physical and spiritual. Spiritual is a 9 out of a scale of 10. Physical is right now an 8. So as some of you may remember, I had elbow surgery almost a year ago to the day. And the elbow is feeling quite nice, actually. I have a very small little touch of arthritis in the right middle finger. So right in there is where I have it. So those two are really good. And that's what's gotten me through the year. Because the mental, emotional part has been really bad. Emotionally, a 3. And if you really look at it, only the last September, October, November, and December is the only reason why that's a plus score. There has been so many issues that if you were to say, Dwayne, what's the name of this year? I would say it's the year of persistence. It's the only way I've been able to plod along. This is one of those years where it could easily knock you backwards a lot. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. My diagnosis of being on the spectrum, in the old nomenclature is Asperger's syndrome. On one hand, it gave me a lot of emotional relief. It's like, oh, these are why things are the way they are. But one of the things that comes with it is PDA, and it's the wrong kind of PDA. It's not public display of affection. It's I gotta remember the acronym. I want to say it's persistent demand avoidance. In essence, with autistic people, our shades of gray is not 40, it's about 8. And so one of the things that we feel very strongly about is when we get demands placed on us that are not only unexpected, but what we consider to be unreasonable, we view that as an infringement of our autonomy. And so learning of that, there's quite a bit of therapy that I've not only undergone, I've been going about 6 months now, but also have to continue. And the goal is to, instead of what I've normally operated in, which is 6, maybe 8 shades of gray, if I can get it to 12. I'm still very much a literalist. So that's had its ups and downs, but I look at that as a net plus. The big net minus, admittedly, has been family life. It has been more than challenging. And I'm not going to get into too many details because I am not a fan of airing dirty laundry. It's just not my thing. But what I will simply say is it is still very much a struggle. I can only speak for myself, but I have a lot of hurt. And the deliberate exclusion of me from a lot of things, sooner, I think, rather than later, is going to boomerang. And it's going to come hard and fast, because one of my tendencies is when I see pervasive wrong, I scorch earth it and don't even think twice about it. So it's rough. Not gonna lie, it's rough. That's why, like, my mental state on average is luckily 4.5, which I think is a great score considering I lost the entire disc golf year because needed to recover the elbow. Moved into a house. I've had very high levels of stress at work and family. The fact that I'm still kind of mentally together, I claim no credit. The good Lord has been very, very good to me. So that's my life. Now let's talk about the specific things in my life. So school's gone along great. I'm very happy, tidying those loose ends up, winning. Disc golf, definitely the itch has returned, and so I'm looking at a schedule. And I've always given my tours names. So in 2019, when I tried to qualify for MA40 World Championships, the name of that tour was Emergence, because it was really me playing disc golf outside of my little protected bubble in South Florida. And then we've had abortive starts. We've had 3 abortive starts with reemergence. So we're no longer using that name. In 2026, it is going to be the Reconstruction Tour. Because of the fact I have taken the whole year off, I'm having to rebuild everything. And so one of the goals is not only scheduling correctly, setting expectations. Yes, it's 500 points to qualify, but I'm really honestly looking at this as maybe a 2-3 year project, because the elbow was in such bad shape. They found 5 separate bone fragments, and they had to do a full flush on the elbow. So we're going to be throwing lightweight disc. I think from now until the good Lord calls me home. The bag is right over here, and we are going to commit to either an all Innova bag or an all Prodigy bag. Prodigy, their manufacturing is about 3.5 hours away in Dalton, Georgia. I'm in southern Kentucky. But Innova makes so many different lightweight discs. It's easier to get my hands on. I have some KZ Pro AVRs that should be here tomorrow. And they're also 150 class. Every disc in my bag is going to be 150 class, even the mid ranges, even the putters, because I need to take care of the elbow. Basically, the best way to describe it is I'm on a pitch count. So that's where scheduling expectations come in. To kind of go back to the personal stuff, I simply want to do 2 things in a personal area. Continue to have fences mended and to mend fences. It's always a 2-way thing. As they say, the truth is what they say, what we say, and what really happened. So reconciliation, definitely very high up. But the other thing is to continue walking closer with God. I am in a bit of a faith crisis. And the reason for that is I am struggling with the Baptist viewpoint of once saved, always saved. When Christ himself said to people that say, we've worshiped you, we've done miracles in your name, we've done all this work in your name, and he has said, depart from me, I never knew you. I'm having a core issue with that, so much so that I am considering and praying forthright about moving churches. Because one of the revelations I've had is unrepentance, quite candidly, will send you straight to hell. And for me, I have had a very repentant heart this year, and it's been wonderful. Because I feel like stuff has been moved out of the way so I can be more like Christ. Matter of fact, I have it here. Other sheet. It's the other sheet. Bishop Dale Bronner. If you ever get to watch him, Word of Faith, he's out of the Atlanta area. He had a recent sermon, and frankly, I think every one of his sermon is like that man. Yeah. He had a whole sermon on the benefits of solitude, and it hit me profoundly because I really have had a lot of solitude. A lot of it enforced on me, quite candidly, some of it by coercion through no fault of my own. It's been a hard year. So let's talk iRacing. This year was pretty darn good. It didn't start very well. But as Vince Lombardi said, start slowly but finish like a pro. And that definitely happened. So what I'm looking for is, let me see. I have my spreadsheet. I did a spreadsheet. For those who know me, I hate spreadsheets. So overall consensus. We had a win. I was at the 3 hours of Magny-Cours and the Porsche was sold. 4 podiums, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and 12 of the 27 races were 10th or better with 4 top 15s. We did 27 team races. That's not all the races I did, just 27 team races. It didn't start very well. It actually started very badly for us. At the Daytona 24, Mark Kent, who was on our team, he had a power supply fail, and so we were DQ'd because we didn't meet fair share. And that was in the LMP2. And then there was an IMSA endurance race, was also wrecked out in the LMP2. That was at Road America. But then things started to get better. Top 15 at the Bathurst 12 hours. That was with Rob, Nathan, and I in Team Purple. And then the great one, 3rd place, Sebring 12 hours, in the P2, same lineup. It was a fantastic drive. To give you an idea how good that drive was, for 12 hours, 2 incidents. That's all I had. And did 50 plus laps. And then Nathan and I developed the Mustang top 10 finish at Portimao in the worst car. At Portimao is the Mustang. It's a big old boy. So the fact that we got a top 10 out of that, I'm really happy. Then we revisited VLN. Andy and I had more network desync issues early, had a big disconnect. That stunk. Then we had a couple of top 5 runs. Nathan and I at Long Beach, Mark and I in the Audi 90 GTO for the Road America 500. So as you can tell, I had a really good special events record this year. And then got to Watkins Glen, got wrecked out of that. So return to form that was. So, and that was at Spa, not Watkins Glen. And for those who know Spa, I'm kind of about. Then, even though it happened this season, it goes back and puts it in. So Andy and I had a class podium in the Merc GT4. Then we did some Clio racing, which was Nathan and I got DQ'd out of the Watkins Glen 6-hour. We got wrecked again, I think in the 217. Had some okay runs in the Toyota, but ended up ditching it. I just wasn't good enough. It's just that simple. Wasn't good enough. 24 hours of Spa, the actual one in the summer. We ended up 25th out of 58. So 5-driver lineup with Felinity. Then, as aforementioned, the victory at Magny-Cours. And then here's how we closed the year. At Daytona, we were 4th in the LMP2. In the 1,000 kilometers in Portimao, that's the one that had the HPD and GT1s. We were 7th out of 33. Top 20 at Road America, I think that's the one Sol had an issue in the kink. And then 13th around Silverstone. And then for the 6 hours of Indianapolis, 13th out of 34. That was for the Indy 6 hours. And then we got to Suzuka. And Suzuka was bonkers. 13th in the Aston, overall victory in the Porsche, 6th in the 3rd time slot, also with the Porsche. To follow that up with the 24-hour Global Endurance Tour event, also at Spa, we sacrificed the Porsche because Netcode grabbed Sol from what it looked like. We were down 8 laps in repairs. We said, hey, we got the other 2 slots. We're going to be done with it. Overall 2nd in GTP and 3rd in the P2 in time slot 3. So what I'm really proud of for myself specifically are the special events. Because when you solely look at the special events, top 15 at Bathurst, class podium at Sebring. We had the overall victory at, Manicure wasn't a special event. But the top 5 in the Audi GTO, all the success at Spa, all the success at Suzuka. So we really hammered special events. So what does that lead for 2026? So I'm already at 20 minutes, so I'm going to afford myself a few little extra time. So in general averages, myself and the teams I raced for gained 7 spots from start to finish in class. So we were on the up. So yeah, I mean, we had four big failures in the race, but we had a lot more success than failures. 2026. So the first thing is the SRI GT3 League. I want to say there's at least 4, maybe 5 of Full Tilt Virtual Motorsport racing that league. That's on Thursdays? Something like that. It's open set. And that leads immediately to the car choice. I know for a fact the Porsche is going to be one of the 3 choices. We want a front engine choice, and there's a lot of options. Mercedes has had some play. The Mustang has had some play. The Aston has had some play. So there is going to be a front engine car. It's which one? But the third car, kind of the dark horse car that I may take a stab at, is the Lambo. Just because it is similar enough to the Porsche in terms of braking. They're both naturally aspirated. I might take that on. I might take that on in SRI just to develop the car further. Because the Porsche, we got that car figured out. I need to race more prototypes. My GTP performance at Spa, I feel I cost the overall. Even though so many people like, Dwayne, they were very complimentary. The math doesn't lie. In 1 hour, I lost 74 seconds. And the margin of victory was less than that. Because by losing 74 seconds, that now would have covered the pit stop. Now we don't have to deal with fuel issues. We knew there was fuel issues multiple hours out. I put the team in a bind. And so to solve that, I'm going to drive more prototypes, specifically GTP. The P2 is the P2. I do need to race that. But the GTP is going to be the Cadillac. With Porsche no longer having official factory support, and the fact that I want a loud, noisy V8, we're going to drive the Cadillac. So that's going to be that car. I would like to get to 2K in road. It's going to take team effort, but I think we can get there if things go our way. But otherwise, have a little bit of fun. I mean, I'm not too far off in Formula from 2K. But the big thing for 2026 is more podiums and wins. That's where it's at. And if I can have a repeat of this year, next year, I'm very happy with that. So that's it. That is all she wrote for 2025. So getting ready for season 1. Some very interesting combinations. Definitely have to be mindful of budget. Budget's definitely very, very tight right now. Medical costs in the United States is very high. And I have been digging myself out since the surgery. So anyways, always take care of yourselves, take care of one another. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. We'll see you next time.